Hey guys, El Flamingo here, your coach of the 4X attack. How good was that intro? I'm going to leave the link to the Twitter of the bloke who made that intro. And it's for the new league I have become a part of. So it's called the UGA, or the Universal Gaming Association, and we're into Season 3. I'm in Kanto Division. There's quite a few other Australians in it, which is pretty cool to see. So today we're just going to go through the team I drafted. We're going to start off with the first mon I pick and then work our way down. This one had a little bit of a different take on the drafting system. They had 5 tiers: S tier, A tier, B, C, and D. They required you to have 1 A tier, 2 B tiers, 2 C tiers, and 1 D tier. So if you wanted S tiers, you had to take it out of your free picks, where you had 150 points to spend on free agent Pokemon. So the S tiers cost 50 points, A tiers cost 40, B 30, C 20, and D 10. So you didn't actually have to take any S tier Pokemon. It could be quite advantageous not to. But I did. So I was second pick in the Kanto division. So as per usual, I kind of base my draft off the first Pokemon that I pick. So since I was second pick, first pick was Grimmsnarl, which meant I pretty much had whatever I wanted to. So I went with the old faithful Dragapult, and it was my first S tier free pick. I thought Dragapult was a good place to start because it hits quite hard on the offense, but also it can be quite good support for your team depending on what you're going with. I also thought it had a really good speed tier at 142 base speed, I believe, so I can start to go a bit slower with my other mons. So we snaked down to the 16th pick and back up to me. And for my second pick, I went down into the B tier and I picked up Sylveon. I thought Sylveon was good. It started my Steel Dragon Fairy Core. Has access to Pixelate, so I can fire off some big hyper voices, but also can proc a weakness policy on the Dragapult if I so wish to. It has a few other cool little techs. It is a base 60 speed, so I can, I've started to spread out my speed stats a bit here now. If I'm against the fastest team, I could set this off in Trick Room. So my next pick was it got back to me, and I thought it was a bit strange that there was 2 Pokemon not taken. Glastrier wasn't taken, and Celesteela wasn't taken. So it's another S tier. So I've gone 2 S tiers, which is the maximum you can have. Bulky Steel type, also Flying type, and it has that Beast Boost ability. It can run a defensive set, it can run a support set, it can run physically offensive or specially offensive, access to max airstreams, which is super good. So I think I've got a very solid Steel Dragon Fairy Core, but my speeds are a little bit spread out. So I had to wait for the picks to get back to me. And this next Pokemon I've always wanted to use, but never been brave enough to pick it. And if you have if your typing's not great across your draft, this guy can kind of fill in the gaps. And it's actually Silvally. So Silvally has 95 base stats across the board, so it can be pretty bulky, also pretty offensive, but has the ability to be any type you want it to be. So if I feel that Ice types are pretty threatening against me, one match I can bring it as a Steel or a Fire type, or if the opponent is quite weak to Rock, I can bring it as a Rock type. So I think it just makes my team a little bit harder to prep for. Also has moves I like Parting Shot, Snarl, and Icy Wind. So yeah, pretty stoked to get that. So that was on the way up. On the way back down, all the Prankstamons started to be taken. So I had been using this next one in the middle stage evolution tournament recently that I won. So I thought, yep, why not go him? So I've picked up Morgrim. Morgrim is the middle evolution for Grimmsnarl. Has access to things like Fake Tears and Fake Out. What else has it got? It's got Screens, it's got Trick, it's got Fake Tears, did I say that already? Anyway, it's got heaps of good shit. So our Thunderwave as well, Taunt. So it's quite a good little utility mon, and I needed to scoop something up quite quick. The Prankstamons were actually quite expensive in this, all in the A's and B tiers. So you have to go, so reach down into C where some of the pre-evos were, like Purloin. So yeah, and I think Morgrim's probably the better one there. It is a bit unfortunate it doesn't get any priority weather, like having a rain dance or a sunny day would be really nice, but I think this Morgrim's going to be quite good for my team. So next we go down, we come back up. I had a pick in mind, I wanted Marowak, just the Kanto form, because it has a Lightning Rod ability, and it's a ground type. I could start working on my flying, ground, and electric core. And I was going to look at getting Magneton as my other electric type. But someone took the Kanto Marowak, so that kind of put a spanner in the works. So the next mon I picked was Mudsdale. So now I'm starting to spread my speed stats out a bit. So Mudsdale has 35 base speed, has 3 really good abilities in Inner Focus, Oblivious, and Stamina. And it gives me that ground typing. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the Lightning Rod ability, but I reached down into the D tier for something that I often don't see as a D tier. So I thought I should get this mon next, because I feel it pairs quite well with my Celesteela. And that's Manectric. Manectric in the D tier. I don't think it belongs there. I think it is a C tier. And I actually feel all my D tiers are C tiers. So I don't feel I am at too much of a disadvantage by going for my 2 S tiers, since all my D tiers I feel are pretty good. So Manectric is the electric type, 105 base speed, starting to spread the speeds out more again. Has a Lightning Rod ability, so it can suck electric attacks away from the Celesteela to boost its own special attack. 105 special attacks, pretty nice as well. Has moves like Snarl, has all the electric moves, but also has some fire coverage as well in Overheat and Flamethrower. So I'm very happy with being able to get Manectric. Would have been more happy with the Kanto Marowak and the Magneton, but that's alright. So I thought, I've got the slow Pokemon in Mudsdale. I would like to start looking at some redirection and something to set Trick Room. So coming on my way back up, I actually went for my C tier before I went for my A tier redirector, because the person who had number 1 pick had no chance of getting an A tier because they'd already spent all their A tiers. So I went for my C tier just in case he wanted this one as well. And I went with Mashana as my Trick Room setter. I quite like Mashana. It has the telepathy ability, which means spread moves that also hit my Pokemon won't hit Mashana. Has 29 base speed, so it's below that 30 benchmark. I always like to have one Pokemon below the 30 base speed. And I actually thought, I'd never used Mashana before. I thought it was just big and fat, but it actually has a 107 base special attack, so I can actually hit pretty hard. So pretty happy with this pickup. Has lots of good support options, but also lots of good offensive options. So then it came back to me. I wanted my redirector. I reached into the A tier, and now I'm looking for to start my Fire Water Grass Core. So I went with Volcarona. Volcarona has Rage Powder, which is a good redirection option, but it also can pack a bit of an offensive punch. It has base, off the top of my head, 130 or 135 base special attack, so really big damage potential. Has 105 special attack and 100 speed. So I've got 3 Pokemon over that base 100 now, so I'm pretty happy with that. Has good support options in Struggle Bug and Will-O-Wisp, but then offensive options in Overheat, Heat Wave, Bug Buzz, Hurricane. So it's got quite a good mix of attacks there. The fact that it can be support or offensive, I think only works in my favour because they're not going to know what it's going to want to do. Next one, we have a very familiar face. It is the second part of my Firewater Grass Core, and it was a D tier pick as well, but I think it is a C tier pick, and it's Lurantis. We have it in the Great Lakes Draft League, and it was my second last pick here. I was really hoping it wasn't going to get sniped. There was probably 2 or 3 other coaches that hadn't picked up a grass type yet, so I thought it was very much within the realms of possibility to be taken. Has a contrary ability, so acts as a pseudo defiant or competitive mon. Can pair well with a mon like Mushana. Maybe use something like a Tickle, I'm not sure if it gets it, but get some stat lowering move, or even get Morgrim to use priority status moves into it to buff its attack, buff its stats. So yeah, I think it's a good fit for my team. Not that my team is particularly Intimidate weak, since the Dragapult has the Clear Body, the Mudsdale has the Oblivious and the Inner Focus, which is immune to the Intimidate. So my team's not particularly Intimidate weak, but it's still good to make the opponent think twice about bringing Intimidate mons, but also using stat dropping moves like Max Darkness or Max Ghost. So I'm really glad to have this guy back on board. I'm really happy with the performance in the Great Lakes Draft League, so it'd be good to see get some more practice with it. So next mon, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I could go a water Pokemon, but I feel Silvally can kind of fill that water role for me quite well. So I thought, why not go for something that can pack a punch and really belongs in the C tier, not the D tier. So I went with Beware. Beware's a normal and fighting type, so it can give me that coaching strat that is quite effective. I can use it next to any of my physically orientated mons. It is normal typing, so it's also immune to ghost moves aimed at Dragapult, and it has the Fluffy ability, so it can it takes half the damage from attacks that make contact. So things like Thunder Punch or Fly or anything like that, it's going to do half damage. So in the recent singles draft league I was in, Beware was able to put in a lot of work against physically orientated mons by going max HP, max defense, and just absolutely sponging attacks. So pretty happy with getting Beware. It has the 120 base attack as well. So compared to my Great Lakes Draft League team, I feel this is probably slightly less fat, but more offensive. But it's still quite a fat team. Like having Mushana, Sylveon, Silvally, even Volcarona, the Lurantis, Beware, Mudsdale, and Celesteela, they're all really fat Pokemon. And then they can just be made even more fat by attacks from the other 3, being Dragapult with things like Breaking Swipe, Will-O-Wisps, and Screens from the Morgrim, and Snarl and Eerie Impulse from the Manectric. So that's my team, guys. We don't have a draw yet, so I think we're starting on the week of the 27th is our first match. So you're not going to see anything from this for next week, but hopefully we'll have the draw up soon, and I'll have my first battle. So that's it, guys. I am going to leave it there. I will see you all very soon with a UGA match.